Right, thanks for having me, Leeds.js. Just in case you're not bored of hearing the words Sky Betting and Gaming enough, that is where I work, but that is not the extent of all I will talk about that. My name's Adam Hepton. I've been in tech for far too long, 20 years plus. I'm a manager now. The whole reason I'm giving this talk is because I was at a user group, and it was quite a while ago now, and it was a talk about how to become a senior engineer, which I think is a talk fraught with so much possibility for so many things going wrong anyway. But during this talk, somebody in the audience at the questions and answers at the end said, I just want to code. I don't want to do any of that other stuff. I just want to code. And I just thought, really, really interesting. What has led that person to come up with that sentiment? And yeah, for better or worse, here I am delving into the full version of that. I was supposed to give this talk several months ago, and I can only apologise if anybody did come expecting to hear it. I got laryngitis. It's not the best combination for giving a tech talk. So yeah. I'm going to talk today about why code is fun and awesome, and exactly why wouldn't you just want to code? It is fun and awesome. You can use it to do so many different things, whether it's mobile apps, whether it's desktop apps, whether it's web apps, whether it's writing command line tools, collaborative open source efforts, or on your own in a bedroom learning for the first time. We all know that code is fun and it's awesome, so why wouldn't you just want to code? It's the best thing in the world. I'm so sorry I got cold as well, you know. I think it's just what happens whenever I stop. So sorry. I'm going to take my water actually. I do apologise. So yeah, code's phenomenal. Coding's great. Code brings people together, and code can make people feel like they're doing things. I'm going to start off with a little story about why it's fun and awesome, and it goes back to 2009. In 2009, after a conversation in the office in my former place of work, which several people in this room have worked at one point or another, in 2009, you can't make out the date, that projector is not working. We had a little conversation, a bit of a laugh, and we started making tweets where we were putting songs, popular songs, into code, using the medium of code for something it was never intended for, conveying messages. And we wrote about, we gave it the hashtag songs in code, put it on Twitter. 2009, there were about 6 people using Twitter. And we did quite a few of these, and it was just like, haha, aren't we the best? It was making a dull day really good. And so we did all these things, and it was like, actually, we're being quite creative. And then I remember a tweet from somebody who I followed, Code Poet, Chris Heilman. He'd done one in JSON. And for and then, because I'd done the app to Chris saw it and thought, that's quite funny as well, I'll do one. But the big thing was that Chris had 58,000 followers in 2009. There weren't. There were about 59,000, and Chris, pretty much everyone followed him. As a result of pretty much everyone following Chris, lots more people wrote songs in code tweets, and lots more again wrote songs in code tweets before songs in code was trending. Trending was a big thing, and it wasn't even officially part of Twitter back then. That is how you retweet things, like where was RT? There was no retweet button in 2009. So yeah, it actually became a trending topic. Andy, who I worked with, now works with Spotify, said, can't believe it's number 3 trending topic. It actually became a number 1 trending topic across the world. And there were articles written in proper media, and local tech bloke, John Leach, wrote a video where he did a song encoding a song. So hopefully someone will then do that in code as well, and then the cycle will continue. But regardless, it was just quite nice. You know, this is what code can do. It can bring people together. Tom, who I worked with again, who I worked with then, wrote things to say, you know, this is where it came from. And it came from a tiny little education company in Halifax, and then that's what Andy and Chris Heilman did that, and they were like, that's what they spoke about. It wasn't anything they've done before, anything like that. It was about what we did on Songs in Code Day 2009. This one down here, which, thinking about these songs, it's really badly That one down there is a tweet from recently. 9 years later, people are still tweeting with that hashtag. It is no longer trendy. You will get one every few months. But it's still there and people are still tweeting it. And that's just a nice story about how code, something that is meant to instruct computers to do certain things, can bring people together and can make human connections. And really that's what this whole talk of mine is about. It's about the humans behind the code. So, I gave a previous talk before, and it was entitled Beyond Full Stack Engineering. And even if you believe that at the core of what you do is code, you still have to do a bit of something else. Whether it's a bit of back-end code, or a bit of front-end code, or a bit of supporting ops work, you still have to do a bit of something else. And what I argued in the Beyond Full Stack Engineering talk, not only that, you have to think about other roles. You have to consider what other roles that form a really good Scrum team, or Kanban team, or just general team. Have some empathy with those people. Have some behavioural skills to go with that. So working as part of a team, working communicatively, thinking about the customer, thinking about the business that you're doing this for. There's lots of different things, but ultimately, if you're a coder, you always do more than coding. And so when somebody says, I just want to code, there can be a lot to that. And so I want to kind of delve into this. And as I say, this is a talk about people and the people behind the code that gets written. And to that end, people respond best to kind of thinking about things, and people are not computers with a yes or no answer. And everybody thinks about things differently. So when somebody says, I just want to code, what do they really mean by that? And what does that mean to them personally? And what does that mean to you as people who work with them? And for me as their manager, or other managers. I don't manage everyone, although it feels like it sometimes. And then if somebody does say it, the first reaction could be like, you can't say that, that's a massive statement, you know. You can't just code. And then I start thinking in my head, and this is me as a manager now, and I'm going to kind of work through my thought process. And hopefully within that, if you're feeling this way, you might work through this thought process. Or if somebody in your team is feeling really frustrated, and really that's what it's about, frustration, how can you question that person? How can you question yourself to try and really get to the root of what they mean by that statement? If you're wanting to code all the time, is it that the code we're doing is not particularly good? Do you feel like we have to concentrate our efforts there because the technical work that we're bringing through is just not that quality? Is it that we're using really poor tool sets, in your opinion, for what we're doing? Are we doing approaches that we think died out with Macromedia Flash? Who knows? But it can be that somebody wants to concentrate on it because they feel it's a weak area. It can also be that it's something to do with the other people on that team, the other people that work with them. Even if you work on your own, you interact with other people. And even if you have to do everything, your one-person shop, you still have to think about how other people interact with you. But if you do work as part of a wider team, does it mean that your team's not working together? Does it mean that there are personality problems at the heart of it, and that they just want to code so that they don't have to deal with the politics that go with that? Is it that they want to just code because the people that they're working with are just not that good at it? What can it mean? And it's about understanding and drilling into that and thinking about it. As a manager, as a person on a team, as a person yourself, does it mean we don't find enough support or don't have enough support? Are we so rigid with our structure and our process that we can't get good things done? Is there too much? Are there too much? Are there too many? Sorry, grammar's not my strong suit. Are there too many other things going on that are distractions away from the core business as this person sees it? Are there so many meetings going on, so many different strands of work going on that it's really difficult to focus? Or is there too much focus going on? Is it like I've been stuck doing this one thing for 9 months? There's lots of different things. again, as a manager, one question I would ask is, are we not providing enough routes for people to progress? Do they just want to code because they want to show what they're good at? Do they want to just code because they think that's how they can do the best for the team, because that's what's really weak? Is it because there's just nowhere else for them to go? They want to code because literally that's the only thing that keeps them on an even keel, because there's so many other ways that they're frustrated about what's going on. Are they kiboshed? Are they unable to progress within the organisation? And really it comes down to how well do we support people? How well is that person supported? It may come out as, I just want to code. It may come out as, I don't want to do that. It may come out as, I'm not going to that meeting. It's a frustrated thing. And it's about thinking about the real root causes behind that. Not a lot of people do, and it's not something that comes easily to a lot of people. But if you find yourself in that dark place, or you see somebody else in that dark place, just ask a few of these questions of yourself, of your organisation, of that person. Try and understand where it's at. But for me, how well do we support our people is key. Because if we're not supporting our people, they're getting frustrated. If they're getting frustrated, they're not doing themselves the best that they can, and they're going to feel unhappy. And I don't like unhappy people. But you can ask yourself a really tough question. You can ask the other people a really tough question. Does that mean you don't care about anything but coding? When we've done our sort of things about what is the environment that this person's working in, let's ask that person, do you not care about anything but coding? That's quite a big statement as well. And that generally comes out with the same kind of reaction as when, if you were to say it out loud to the manager in question. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Okay? So what is it that you meant? Does that mean you don't care about why you're coding? For a lot of people, they will happily take on what's called donkey work by some and as important infrastructure work by others. Do you not care about the reason behind this, or do you really care about the reason behind this? Is that part of the problem? Is it that the work is not so much boring, but not getting you to places that you want to either in your career, or not fulfilling your technical aspirations? If you're driven by mastery, is it not challenging? If you're driven by being connected to other people, are you on your own as a sub-team of one because it's an important job and they know that you can get it done? Does that mean you don't care about how you and others code? Find me a developer or engineer that doesn't care about how other engineers code, and I will give you a lollipop. Because every single engineer I know, and I've known a few, cares more about how other people code than anything else that they do. And that's not a bad thing, because it's a very positive thing to care and want that your product is going to shape to be the best thing it can be, to be formed on the best formation of code that it can be, to use the right tool set, to use the correct patterns that don't fall down under heavy load or just perform generally badly. And everybody has an opinion at code review. Everybody, whether it's tabs versus spaces or functional programming over OOP, everyone has opinions on everything and everything in between. But if you care about that kind of stuff, is it that you're not getting the opportunity to really influence that stuff? Are you having to do shoddy work? Are you having to do rush work? Are you constantly having to rework other people's code because it's just not fulfilling your own sense of satisfaction? Have you got the time to spend on growing the rest of the team or yourself? Do you not care about how it works and runs? Mention performance. Do you not care if somebody's going to break into it with security? Are you going to get a call out at 3 a.m? If you're going to get a call out at 3 a.m, you're going to care about your code and whether it works and runs a heck of a lot more than if you don't get the call out and some other chump gets it. Do you care about what servers it runs on? Do you care whether you've done really good package management up to that point, or that you've bloated this to high heaven and that your customer is taking 10 seconds to load something that it should take them 0.2 seconds? How much of that do you actually care about? And these are pretty incendiary questions. These are intended to elicit a response, and that is so that you really think about what it is when you say, I just want to code. feeling frustrated. What do you mean? Do you not care about who's going to use this product? Do you not care if anyone uses this product? Are you happy to write code for the sake of writing code? Because that's basically, I just want to code. All right, write some code. Never run it? Does that matter? I would wager that even if you're writing code as a learning exercise to try and understand how something works and how the best way of making sure that it does the job that you want it to do, you're going to have to run it at some point to work that out. Do you not care that somebody is going to see this? If you do care that somebody's going to see this, do you really care that somebody's going to see this? And that's why you just want to make sure that the code's perfect. Is it that you've been, again, pushing things out the door? Or is it that you've got too much emphasis in your team on making sure things are gold-plated before they get out? Are you really frustrated that you're not getting stuff to your customer? Is your delivery process what's holding you back? Do you not care what happens when it's done? As I alluded to, you're the one who cares if you get called out. Do you not care if anyone ever sees this? Do you not care if there's a platform or a use or a reason for your code to exist as part of a bigger thing? Do you want it to be part of a bigger thing? And how useful is code in itself? You've got code. Nobody in the history of programming has written code and then never done anything with it. You have to run it. You have to put it somewhere. You have to let others see it. You have to validate that it does what it's supposed to do. All these things make the statement of I just want to code feel a little bit farcical, because really you don't. You care about a hell of a lot more than that. Everyone does. And really what it is, when you say I just want to code, you're really saying I just want to do stuff I care about. I just want to do good stuff, the stuff I care about. And if you feel that you want to do the stuff you care about, how do you feel about all the other stuff? So if you've got down and knuckled down and found out the core of what matters to you and what you really want to work on, whether it's challenging work, whether it's good work that lots of people see, that other people are engaging with, how do you feel about all the other stuff? Are you happy for other people to just take on responsibility for testing? Do you care about whether it's tested or not? Do you care if it makes any money or not? What do you feel about that? If you're going to be doing that stuff, who does the other stuff? And do you care who does the other stuff? Is it fine for anyone to do testing? Or is it actually that you care so much about the quality of your product that the testers that you've got working on this are not thinking things through properly and they're not doing your code the best service it can? Very unlikely in my experience. Testers are excellent. Do you care about whether this is going to be commercially savvy? And do you trust the people that are going to get the right audience for your product? Is it annoying you how much time you're spending trying to get this out to real people when really you just want to be getting on and getting things done? And then a classic coaching question there. If we were to change things, what might that look like? Take where you are now. Take where you want to be. By answering all these questions, you've got much more of an idea of where it is you want to be. If you've got an idea of where you want to be, what does that look like to you? How are you feeling inside yourself? What is driving you on that day? And what's making you feel really happily about that? And then, what does it take to get there? That's a summation of it. How effective is the way we do things? Whether it's the blend of work, whether it's your ability to concentrate on some things, whether you've got distractions going on, how effective is what we do right now? And what can we do to make it more so? So, again, another sort of refinement on it. You want to do stuff that you're good at, or stuff that you should be good at. So, sometimes it comes down to a level of concentration or a level of confidence. What do you think you're best at? Well, I think I'm best at coding, because that's what generally comes at. I think I'm best at coding. Okay. Are you really? Is that really all that you're best at? And going back into it, you work out, oh no, actually, I'm quite good at making sure that what I do is good for a customer. All right, okay, good, yeah. But what is it that you think you're not so good at? Quite often somebody will say, coding, not so good at coding. I just want to code, but I'm not that good at it, actually. And it can be a confidence issue. All this frustration can come from a variety of sources. Imposter syndrome is very well documented. And even when you believe that you, in your heart, that you are very good at something, something will come along to derail that and make you feel like you're not actually that good at it. Is this down to not feeling good enough? How important is it for you that you get better at what you do? How important is it that you refine those skills and build on the things that matter to you? If we've worked out where it is that we want to get to, and we've worked out what it feels like to be there, how important is it that you get there? Because if you haven't got the will to change things, and don't get me wrong, that can be very difficult, particularly if you've got mental health issues. If you've not got the will to actually make those changes, then it's going to be incredibly difficult to make those changes. Even when you're struggling with the demons of mental health, and I may bring that up because tech, it's rife with it. I'd be amazed if most people in this room didn't have mental health issues. I say that from a place where I suffer from mental health issues, and I know that even on my happiest day, it's hard to get to the place where I want to be, and it's hard to identify all the things. And it's these kind of questions that can coax that out and make you feel a little bit more aware of the situation. And being aware of the situation can give you that little bit more will. Again, I'm just speaking from my personal experience. Yours may vary. But how important is it for you to get better at something? If it is important to you, what can you do about it? What will you do about it? What happens next? Even if it is, I'm in a dark place, I can't get much done right now. That's okay. It's fine to be there. But what happens next? How are you going to get to that place where you're feeling good about things? How is that change going to have been affected? So, there's a statement I just want to quote, and it's written in big letters because it's a big statement and it can have a lot of things behind it. And even if you've never considered any of these things before, when you're doing your day-to-day, you will feel frustrated. And understanding frustration is your biggest tool to combating frustration. So whether it's coding, testing, designing, managing, anything else, there's so many different things that you want to do, but really what you want to do is win. You want to win. You want to succeed. And ultimately, what you really want to do is do great work. That's it. Thank you very much. I don't know the format, Luke. Do we do Q&A? Does anyone want to ask any questions? I think I've asked probably enough questions for everyone, but has anyone got any questions, comments? Hello, Tristan.
If you work with someone and you very much get that attitude that they just want to code and
Yeah.
kind of they might be in that dark place,
Yeah.
what can you do to kind of...
So, the question was if you work with someone and you kind of notice this kind of, or even that they're in a dark place. So part of that is asking those kind of questions that I've mentioned before to try and help them understand where it is they're at. Other things you can do when you're doing your interactions, it may be that you're or you're just completely isolated, whatever, it depends on the situation. You can tailor your interactions with that person to say, what do you want to do now? What shall we do now? How can we get out of this? What's your thoughts on it? I always find collaboration, don't get me wrong, I'm people first all the time, but I always find collaboration and getting people to understand and buy into things helps bring things along. But if somebody is, look, I'm just going to get my head down, I'm just going to do this, there can be many legitimate reasons for somebody wanting to just get their head down and get it. But even if it's like, if they're very determined, you think about their personality type. If it's somebody who's does that kind of thing quite often, okay, it's probably not out of the ordinary. Although it could be habitual at that point. But use a technique according to that person. If they respond to gentle suggestions, just say, okay, I'm here if you need me, but I do want that. I'm probably going to have to ask you lots of questions about how we're doing it, so I'm going to interrupt you a bit. Just want to let you know that. That kind of thing. think. I don't know. There is no cookie cutter answer, I guess, is the very fluffy way of answering that question. I certainly don't have all the answers. Definitely not. No? Okay. Right, thanks everyone.